Whose wrench is this?
I don't know. Nobody's?
It's in a dumb spot. What's up, guys? Back out in the shop today. It's been about a week since we did our alignment, tie rods, and drag link on the old pickup here, and well, the test drive that night showed that I still had play in the steering. I should have known better, but it is what it is. So what I think is happening is there is too much play in the steering gear in this old pig. I did replace it like 10 years ago when I worked at an auto parts chain that will be unnamed. You probably couldn't figure out which one it is, but whatever. So anyway, it was a Cardone unit, and they're kind of notorious for being not very well remanufactured. So it had play to begin with 10 years ago even. So today we're gonna go ahead and replace that with a Borgeson unit that I picked up off of Summit. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is the Borgeson unit that I picked up from Summit. It's about 550 bucks with tax. It's part number 800133. I'll put that down in the description here too. It's a 12.7 to 1 ratio. So 3 turns, lock to lock, turn and a half from center to lock. So it should be a lot nicer in the truck and be able to manage the steering a lot better than the factory units or the really crummy Cardone remand units that all the parts store chains pedal. So, all right, so let's jack this thing up and pull the driver's side wheel off. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is just go ahead and make a mess right off the bat by pulling off the power steering lines, our pressure line and our return line that's on our steering gear, which would be this bad boy and this bad boy. And the size of the nut on there is an 18 mil. I like using a crow's foot. Seems to work the best. So let's go ahead and pop those off. There's the first one. Kind of fought myself on that one. Hopefully that comes off nicely. But I have a feeling it won't, because of reasons. Go ahead and spray that with a little bit of Deep Creek too, so that the nuts actually spin on the line. I think it might be a little too late for the return line there. I might have another return line someplace, but hopefully the pressure side is a-okay. Like I said, it's been a minute since these have been off. There we go, that one. Pressure side came off a lot nicer. Now, if I was a betting man, I would say that we're definitely not going to hit our drain pan that I put down there, because that's not really my style, apparently, ever. There we go. Now, if that was a brake line or something, I don't think I'd be attempting that with as much force as I did here, but it's a lot easier to replace than a brake line, so in my humble opinion, take that as you will. Now what we're going to do is remove this bolt right here. So that attaches your steering shaft and steering coupler, or rag joint, to the input shaft on your steering gear. And this bolt is a 7/16, but it is a 12 point, so just so you know. What we're going to do is we're going to pull that bolt all the way out, because there is a groove that the bolt slides into on the input shaft. Well, some bitch sliced up my arm pretty good. It appears that I've wounded myself. Okay, so we're going to take our handy dandy pry bar, and we're just going to go ahead and pull our steering shaft off the input shaft. Go just a tad more. There we go. Now we are off. As you can see, here is the groove that your through bolt slides into, going that away. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and pull our drag link off of our pitman arm here. So we're going to undo our castle nut there, pull the cotter pin, and then give that a little bop, and it should fall right out of our pitman arm. Should help too, because we obviously recently put this in. So that should help out a whole bunch on getting it out of there easily. So let's do that. All right, now that we got our drag link off, let's focus on go ahead and pulling our old power steering gear. Now this thing is held on with some through bolts that run through the frame, and we're gonna have to get at those from the other side here. Okay, so we have 3 bolts that we have to remove.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
And they're located on the inside of the frame rail. There's one right here. There's one above it here. Right up there. You can see it past the... There it is. And then there's one over here in the corner that you can't really see. It's kind of tucked way back up in there. So we're gonna go ahead and pull those bad boys off. So let's do that. Okay, so these bolts are 5/8, if you are curious also. If I can save you a trip to the toolbox, I certainly will. This last one, wrong! You can actually get to it with a deep well and a short 3/8 drive extension. Oh, I lied to you. There is a 4th bolt on the front side. Okay, so now we got our old power steering gear out. We're gonna go ahead and pull the pitman arm off of it and stick that on the new unit. But like I said, this one was a really crummy remand unit from one of the big auto parts store chains. So really just a Cardone unit. Very poorly remanufactured. Like I said, it had a whole bunch of play in it. So. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and pull our pitman arm bolt out and pull our pitman arm off. So up top we have 7/8, down below we have 13/16. Looks like we won't even have to put the old pitman arm puller on there. Nice and loose to begin with, look at that. It's a good thing that I took this thing apart a while ago. There we go. go. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and brush off all the mounting points where the steering gear actually sits on the frame rail, just so that's nice and flush when you put it up there. Now another thing to do while you are in here is actually inspect this area for cracks in the frame rails. These trucks are pretty notorious for cracking right in this area. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and torque down our mounting bolts for the steering gear now that we have it in place and kind of mocked up. But this here is the fourth bolt that was being elusive earlier, so I just want to show you guys where that was. And that's in front of this cross member. The other three are on the back side up there. So these mounting bolts get torqued down to 70 foot-pounds. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put on our pitman arm here. Okay, let's go ahead and get that snugged up on there. Now we're going to go ahead and torque that to 90 foot-pounds. So we got our steering shaft put back on there. We're going to go down below, put our drag link back on, and then we'll put power steering lines back on. Had to get a new O-ring here for the pressure side. Luckily I've got an O-ring kit, which is pretty handy dandy. Okay, so we got our new steering gear unit installed. We got our power steering pump filled. Line's back on. Our drag link is back on. And we're gonna go ahead and fire this thing up and go ahead and get some fluid into that steering gear and then align our steering wheel after that. Okay, so the noise that you heard coming from the truck, which I think most of you astute viewers could hear, was the power steering pump whining like crazy. So yes, it did fail almost immediately, power steering pump. And now would be the time that we go on our saga of replacing that twice, because the quality of remanufactured parts is complete dog shit. Yeah, so watch that and have fun. There's pump number 2, which is another remanufactured unit from Cardone. Got a bad belt squeak out of it, and it did shortly thereafter develop a good whine to it like our first reman unit did. And finally we get to our third power steering pump, which is the one that worked. It was a new Advantage unit that I had gotten from O'Reilly's. It was newly manufactured, came as just the pump itself, and I had zero issues with it, as you can hear.